I'm Bethany Hunefeld. I teach science here. And on September 22nd, we had Fidelity come to our school, and we had to pick 4 classes that Fidelity was going to work with, and we were going to do a stock simulation game. At first, I was kind of nervous when I heard that my team was picked because I know nothing about stock investing or anything because I'm younger, and I was intimidated by it. So I was very nervous of how the students were going to take to the game and everything. So they actually did really well. Within the first 20 minutes of the game, I realized that they're very much engaged, that things that I would have been very confused on, like investing in stocks and then dividends and all the vocabulary that goes with it, was all of a sudden very clear. And the 4 posters that are hanging up are the 4 different posters from our homerooms, and so they competed in the homeroom, and it was about a 3-hour ordeal, which, as you all know, keeping 8th graders occupied and engaged for 3 hours can be challenging. They had a blast. By the end of the time, I mean, I didn't even know that 3 hours had passed at all. So, so they chose 8th grade teams. Then there were 2 students from each homeroom that won. So then a total of 8 students who got to go to Fidelity. The students are Carly Crone, who's with us today, Courtney Garrett, who's also with us, Eric Floyd and Patrick Kennedy. Those actually were the 2 students who won the whole game, and they actually couldn't join us today. But Aaron Newman, who's also with us today, Riley Worstel, who's with us today, and Kayla Turner, who's with us today, and Hannah Volker, who's with us today. Sorry, my slide is kind of messed up, so I'm just gonna have to wing it a little bit. It's all right. So, Aaron, now I'm gonna allow them to tell you a little bit about the game and their take on it. So Aaron, can you please give us a brief description of the game?
Well, at the beginning of the game, we were all given the same amount of money. And then for the first 2 years, we bought and sold the same stocks, so we would be in the same spot. And then for the next 8 years, we bought and sold our own stocks, and we were on our own. And then at the end of 10 years, we figured up our totals and see who won.
Very good. So basically what they did in a nutshell is they would roll the dice, and that would decide if the stock went up or down. So it was kind of chance. Based on how risky the stock market was based on how many dice they got. And they did it 10 times to simulate 10 years. And at the end of the year, based on the dividends and based on how much it went up and how much they could then buy and sell, you then had people who had the most amount of money or the least amount of money. And the winners, who were these 6, and then the 2 other students were the ones who had the most amount of money. And then they went and competed at Fidelity between 4 other neighboring schools, and 2 of our students were actually the winners between that. So Carly, how much did you know about investing before the game?
I didn't know anything, but now I know a lot about it.
There you go. And I think that's honestly how a lot of the students felt, that they didn't know very much at all. But then after the game, I had even some of my students telling me that they might even think of that as a career. So it was huge. It was a very good program. Let's see. Hannah, what was your favorite part of the game?
It was being able to see the profit that we made at the end, because we started with $300 and we ended up with a lot more money.
Riley, what was the main strategy that you used? Since you were in the final round where they had 2 different sets of games and he got to the final 4 with his partner. Make sure you speak up for us.
We like to invest in the red and orange because when we rolled the dice, it went up more and it could go down more, and the chances were that would go up.
Okay, very good. So they like to invest in the red and the orange, and you can tell by the charts, just based on looking on it, that the orange one could make very different changes. They could go up very quickly or down very quickly. So if you lucked out and they went up very quickly, you made a lot of money. Kayla, do you think you would be able to invest your money smartly now after the game?
Yeah, I would. Because this game made investing fun and not scary.
Very. And students, what was the most important lesson you learned while participating in this game?
I guess it was just because when we get older, we don't know what to do. It won't be as challenging and as difficult.
Very good. Riley, did you want to add something to that?
Like it was a little scary at first, but then when we played the game, it became more easy to understand because we were interacting with other people.
So I think that was a huge thing, was that it took some concept that me as a teacher, I was even intimidated about, and kind of brought it down to their level, made it engaging, made it fun. And so I think some of them took that with, you could maybe relate that to any material, that at times, I know with teaching science, sometimes the students, when they see that E equals MC squared, they kind of flip out. But then if you could do engaging activities with that, kind of bring it down to their level, that I think that that's a really good way to reach all types of students and get them engaged. And I think if you can get them engaged, you can take them to new heights academically. So do you all believe that this game would be beneficial for our other students in our district to play?
Because it would allow others to learn about investing in stocks.
Okay, did you all have fun?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your all's time.